Yeah. So if you ever want to look at things, because that's one thing that I used to do is I used to say, like, how many hours I put in and what did I make? And the thing about this job is I said the other day when I get on, like, it's a grind. It really is. It is a lot of work. And if anybody thinks, wow, we hardly got anybody today. Did nobody like me on Wednesday?
Oh, Brenda, honestly, it was powerful. So if
Yeah.
they didn't, then they should not be here. But I think people are just joining in. I think they're just a little late to the party because everybody was shoveling.
Oh, okay. I hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was telling people who are not even in Ignite, you need to go watch the recording from Wednesday.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think you can though, can you?
I have no idea, but I'm willing to share it. I don't care how it happened.
Yeah,
People
for sure.
that.
It's posted on our group, like on the new website just made.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, so just I'll give a few minutes so maybe some other people can come through.
And I'm also wondering if people were planning on going to the office today because it was opened.
Aaron
And
just
now-
left.
and now it's
Aaron just left
delayed.
10 minutes ago.
Pardon
Yeah.
me?
Aaron just left 10 minutes ago.
To go to
Okay.
work. Right.
I can't imagine anyone would have to shovel the drive to the office if they don't have to.
No.
Yeah, me neither, but
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to we're talking about how much you make per hour. And the reason, like, when this person I was with Coldwell Banker then, and this was the head guy in Canada. And, this is what he was saying, like a good agent can make $600, up to $600 an hour. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say things like that, like, it's not like we don't work for our money. Remember I said on Wednesday, my phone rings on Saturday night at 8:30, I answer it.
Mhm.
Right. So I pretty much, just one sec. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I just got to tell my son I'm just on a course. Yes. He's waiting for something from me. Yes.
Aren't they always?
Aren't they always? They're always our babes, no matter whether they're 3 or 34. They're always our babes. Yes. So it's the opportunity in real estate. That's what's really key. It's the opportunity. So when I was working in my previous world, I loved it. It was a family business, but we were not rich. We worked our butts off. But I got to tell you, really, when I come home at 5 o'clock, I mean, David and I would have to talk about the production in the plant and any issues, something happened at the stores, but it wasn't like it is now. I knew where I was going the next day. I knew I was getting up. I knew I was going to a deli. I knew I was going to sell pepperoni. I knew I get a paycheck at the end of the day. And I made pretty good money for, at the time when I left when did I get into real estate? I get into real estate 2008. So when I left my job in 2008, I was making $65,000 a year. I had a car, the insurance was paid for. I had a gas card. I mean, I had a pretty good package. So package is probably all total worth about close to $80,000 with benefits at the end of the day. And when I got into real estate, I said to myself, if I can replace that salary, if I can replace that living, I'll be happy. Right. Which
you did.
Oh, which I did. So I was just checking. I was just, okay. I don't see you. I'm looking for somebody that I want to see here today. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more people here. Oh, look at that. Hey, everybody. Sorry. I didn't flip it.
It's
Alex?
funny you say that. I've been just admitting people as they pop in, but it's funny you say that, Brenda, like the opportunity. I mean, that's what I use as motivation when I get down on it. I mean, yeah, I've had months where everybody's had months where they don't have a closing, or maybe you have 2 or 3 in a row where you don't have a closing. But
yeah,
I mean, I always think back to I think it was June of 21. I made over 50 GCI in 1 month.
Yeah, and you have to, like, as you know, you need to spread that out and you need to know how to.
Exactly.
That's one thing about this business. So, and that's why when people will say to me, oh, realtors are that, it's like, how many, I did open houses for 9 years on a Sunday. Unless I was on my deathbed, with anyone that knows me knows doesn't happen, so I miss pretty much every family event. So like we really put in our time, and that's why I want to talk today about that. Look at the opportunity. And that's what happened. And I remember I told you Wednesday, I threw my Rolodex away from the
Yeah.
meat world. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I've been doing business and I've been connected to people for 40 years in the city, but still, I did 23 transactions in my first 6 months. Do you know how motivating that is? Because that's when I realized, oh, wait a minute. If I do one more, which is Ed Milet, but if I do one more, so what would happen is I'd do one, and then I would chase another one. But here's the thing, I didn't even have the tools you guys are getting. So today, we talked about embracing your job. Thank you, Holly. I'm glad that everybody got a lot out of that, or that you did. And then today we're going to talk about know your market, building your expertise, utilize resources, the daily habits, and the recaps and the ahas. So here's the truth. If it's been done in another market, it can be done in your market. Once it has been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how that can be possible in your world. So I'm going to talk a little bit, when one of the slides come out, I'm going to talk a little bit about absorption rates here. Now, I was not taught absorption rates the same way they are on this slide. But that being said, he's right. Anything that's happening in any market, if anybody thinks right now, like, I guess so here, I'm going to throw this question out. How has the market in Halifax shifted? Who can tell me what the shift is?
Supply mindset.
Supply shifted up. Supply's been an issue for 3 years.
Well, I would say buyers are on pause because of the interest rates, and they're like, oh my God, I can't afford now what I could afford then. And the inventory of 200 to 400,000, there's not a whole lot, I don't think anyway, or not where I'm looking. And I just think that buyers have paused and they're waiting to find out what's going on. And because there aren't any buyers, maybe there aren't any sellers. I don't know, but it's definitely not as many buyers. I had 5 buyers pause the pause button really quickly.
But I'm staring at a place right now that just sold this morning, downtown Dartmouth, won 100K over ask. I showed it the other day.
How much was it?
What I'm saying is, we are not.
599 sold for 692.
We're not in a market shift in Halifax.
No.
We've had an economic shift. The economic shift is affecting our market. The economic shift is the interest rate, just what Holly said. But we are still in a seller's market. We have been in a seller's market. We started to roll into a seller's market in November 2019. So I've been doing my stats every month for 10 years. In November 2019, we were rolling in a seller's market. The pandemic caused the frenzy. The frenzy is over, but we are still in a seller's market. And I'm actually doing a video later today on all the different factors that can cause a shift. So we're going to talk about knowing your market first. So knowing and connecting with the market is all about research and preparation. So it's not just about, going on every Monday and seeing what's going on. I don't know if any of you ever watch my monthly updates, but if you're a newer agent and you want to know what's going on in the market, tune in, go on my video channel and watch my Halifax market updates. You don't even have to do anything. All you got to do is watch them. And then I've given you all the information you need, because we talked about that the other day about, if you're not sure how to talk about the information, how to explain the information, then just go watch somebody that does, or listen to it and then take it. Right. So I coach through one of the largest coaching organizations in the world for real estate. And he is always telling us, well, my coach is a female in there, but she is always telling us, it's their whole thing is R&D, R&D. Well, R&D is rip off and duplicate.
I like it.
That's all you have to do. Buyer's market, more than 7 months inventory. Okay, here's where I have a different view. The way I was taught, seller's market, 1 to 3 months. Balanced market, 4 to 5 months. 6 months and up is seller's market, buyer's market, 6 months and up, balanced 4 or 5 months, sellers 1 to 3. I did some research this morning. It varies all over the country. It varies it's different in the States. This is American. Okay. When I was in school, that's what I was taught. 1 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 6 and up. Right. So think about it. If you're 6, think about you're on the market for 6 months. Your house is on the market for 6 months. That's 180 days. Do you think we're in a balanced market? Of course, we're not in a balanced market.
No.
We're in a buyer's market, right? So, and inventory. So what is the inventory in your market? Again, know your inventory. So I did my stats on Monday. We had 604 active listings. Remember I said 30 conditional, 57 sold. And then today, right now, we have 601.
Brenda, excuse me. Is that Nova Scotia or is that HRM? What is that?
I only do HD region because I don't care
Oh,
what's
yes,
going on
okay.
anywhere. It's not relative to my market.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
So if I'm putting information out on the market to people who think they can call me and I'm including stats from Yarmouth, I'm not giving, I see, because the other thing is knowing your clientele. Who are you talking to? I don't want to talk to anyone in Yarmouth because they're never going to call me. So there's no need for them to see me, right? It's like when I boost something, I'm going 15 miles outside of Halifax. I'm not going to Yarmouth. I'm going to pay money to be on an ad down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking right now and Halifax Dartmouth has 1.3 months of inventory. The entire MLS has 1.9.
Right now, there are, so to do the absorption rate, does everybody understand what absorption rate is?
Talking about your monthly inventory.
The absorption rate tells you how much inventory. The absorption rate is so important to our business. It's so important to every presentation you make. There is not a listing presentation that I go in that I don't calculate the absorption rate before I go in. So right now there's 14 active listings in Cole Harbour. There were 4 sales in the last 30 days. That's 3.5 weeks worth of inventory in Cole Harbour.
Yeah, but you also got to take into consideration your conditionals. If you're only taking into consideration the sales, it's not the full picture.
When you actually do the calculation, it is the calculation book, let's say theory book ways, you don't take in the conditional. So I never have, and I wasn't taught that way. So if there's a new way to teach this, that somebody told you to take in conditionals, I'm not aware of it. I'm not going to change the way I've been doing it this way for 16 years. And if a conditional happens to come back onto the market, that's okay. But the only thing that matters in this calculation is that a property that actually sold, it actually sold. So I will not ever bring in a conditional property into my math. So know the inventory and know the absorption rate. So like I said, every listing presentation I go on, I've got 2 on Monday I'm going on, and they'll both know exactly what's going on in their neighborhood, right? Like during the pandemic, I'd be going out for listing appointments and the absorption rate was 0 or 2 days or maybe a week. It was crazy. What's the average number of days a market stays on the home? 35 this week, right? That was 31 the week before. 2 weeks prior to that, it was 43. So do you see how things can change really quickly?
Yes. So
Right.
it's going down for sure.
It's going back down again. Yeah. What is the average price a home sells for? There's 2 prices that are given, and everybody just looks at the average price. So the average price will always be skewed by the combination of values that's sold in the comparable month that you're using. I'm going to give you an example of that. So I can't bring this up on my, I don't know if I can, I'd have to stop this share to try and
Mhm.
bring this up, and I don't know if I can do that. But so in January 2023, the average price went down, didn't it? From 2022.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. All right. So in January 2022, there were a total of 242 units sold. So I want you guys to write these numbers down as I say them for both of these blocks, okay? January 2022, price point 250 to 450, 92 sales. Price point 451 to 650, 73 sales. 651 to 850, 34 sales. 850 plus, 35 sales. To be more specific, and you don't have to write this one down, I'm just pulling out that I'm going to pull out a figure of the last one, but you don't have to write it down. Between 950 and $1 million, there were 11 homes sold in 2022.
In January.
In January. Sorry, yeah, no, 35. Sorry, that was December. I'm jumping back to December. Sorry. Because December was a big one, big drop too. Okay. January 2023. I meant to throw the December one at the end of this conversation. Sorry. So I will bring it back up. January 2023, 250 to 450. There were 66 homes sold. 450 to 850, there were 68 homes sold. 650 to 850, there were 23 homes sold. 850 plus were 20 homes sold, for a total of 182 in all price ranges. So when you look at those numbers, is the average price down because people are paying less for a house, people's homes are losing value, or is the average price down because the mix of values that sold are different year to year? It's down because the mix of what was sold year to year.
Yeah.
So right now, the value of people's homes is not falling in Halifax. But every time somebody puts out a report that says home prices are down 5.3%, the average home price, everybody thinks their home value is dropping. So jumping back to the December one, in December 2021, there were 11 homes sold, 950 to $1 million, like over $1 million. There were 11. And in December 2022, there were 0. Do you think that would skew the average price?
Yeah. I'm looking at the median, and Halifax, Dartmouth has been on an incline since November.
Right. So the median price right now is 469,000. The median sell is 463. So the difference between an average and a median, the average is the sum of all numbers divided by the total of numbers. The median is the most repeated number in the calculation, right? So
What,
it's telling them-
explain that a little bit more. So the median is
the
is the
median
what?
is the price point that is repeated the most. It's the number that's repeated the most. Is, I don't even know other, I was taught
It's like
that's
the
what median-
middle. So
like
like if 100 homes sold, you're gonna have like 20 of them are under 200 and 20 of them are over $1 million, but like the majority are in that like middle. So like right now, Halifax, Dartmouth, from what I'm looking on Paragon, is 485, which is fairly one of the more common numbers for the whole area.
What that means is the majority of homes being sold are in that price point. That is the actual median value of what the majority of buyers are spending right now.
Okay.
In that price
Okay.
point. right? So
That
Monday,
makes
it
sense.
was 469 and the sell was 463. So that's why I'm showing you guys these things today, because when somebody comes up to me and says, how's the market doing? I got all kinds of answers for them. Right? So really, really know your number. So, and especially where you want to have conversations with people, we're talking about conversations today. You want to pick up the phone. Remember what I said to you guys the other day? Is you pick up the phone, use your Ford. Everybody know what Ford is? We talked about that Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So use your Ford and then you're calling them and you're calling because, oh my God, there is just so much craziness going on right now in the real estate of what's being said. What's your perception of the market? And that's when you can have a conversation, right? Are you curious about what your neighborhood is? If you're gonna make a bunch of calls to people and you want to have a neighborhood specific conversation, look up your people that are in a certain area. So for instance, right now, out of the active 601, we have 458 single detached. And then I put in the number from 250 to 450. And I want 250 to 450. We have, this is Halifax, Dartmouth. This is a great conversation piece. We have 76 homes between 250 and 450. 38 of them are single detached, 6 of them are semis, 14 are condos, 3 are condo townhouses, 1 is townhouse condo. And I did not continue into mini homes and side by sides and side splits and all that shit, because that I don't need to go through every one of them to have a conversation with people. But do you see what I'm getting at? It's not just a matter of looking on Paragon, it's looking on Paragon and taking the numbers and deciphering them. Because when we go to somebody and say, oh, there's 458 single detached homes in Halifax, that means nothing to them. What are they looking for? Right?
Yeah.
What are the majority of people shopping for?
Go to market stats, like it's right beside right, like on the realtor tools when you log in on NSAR, it's just a few down from Paragon. And you can just decipher whatever you want, break it right down to 2-bed, 2-bath homes if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can go on, I don't use that site. I use Paragon.
Mhm.
That's what I use. Right now.
What site are you talking about, Alex? Sorry, Brenda. What do you, because I go to Paragon. Are you?
Market stats. So when you log in, Paragon's the second tab in. So it's just over between Offer Manager and MLS HPI.
Yeah, and on the
Oh,
market,
I get you. Yeah. Mine's set up differently, but yeah, okay, I get you.
And you have to, there are times when I am a Paragon girl. I've called Steve Killorn so many times.
Yeah.
He's probably sick of me, because there are times when what you pull off Paragon does not match market stats.
Mhm.
So I choose Paragon over market stats. When I want graphs, I go to market stats. So like my graphs, the stuff I was just talking about, you'll see if anybody watches last month's monthly video, you'll see the graphs I take off are for there. My newsletter, I use market stats and that. But when I want to know what's active in Halifax, Dartmouth, I go on Paragon and I get it.
yeah, it's the best way to do it, because especially if you're doing your monthly inventory, or your assumption rate is on the other one, they actually calculate it with the conditional.
Yeah.
So you do want to be aware. I got a question
So
there
my
for you.
question on that, Dennis, would be, what if the conditional doesn't go through? What if it falls?
Oh, I understand. It's just, that's how they calculate it. That's just the norm, right? So question for you. At the end of the day, a lot of people will take their own stats, and it's a great thing to do. I do it every month. I do my monthly stats. And people do it with their own intent, I suppose. But my question comes down around median and average, and what is that you use and why?
I use both. So if you guys, anybody watch my Monday update, both is on. The median tells us what more of the buyers are looking for, Dennis. Right? Because the average price can be skewed by two and don't get me wrong, because I love this agent to death. I really do. Him and I are good friends. But all David Dunn has to do is sell 2 listings and he skewed the stats for the whole week.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure. I mean, the
Right?
best one to use is if you do multi-unit listings. I mean, last month was 366 for your average. This month, or you know what I mean, January versus February, it was 766 for this one. So massive difference, right? Yeah.
So, and I don't look at that because that's not my clientele. And we're going to talk about that today too. Know who your clientele is. Who do you want to sell to? Right? And you're right, Dennis, if you're doing if you're marketing your brand to attract, or you're advertising to attract multi-unit buyers, you've got to know what's going on in multi-units. Right? You know, I love baby boomers. I love to sell for baby boomers. That's my favorite. Right? So, based on the inventory, what type of real estate market, of course, do you think we're in? And then again, make contacts with lenders in your area so you can stay up to date on your market, answer any questions. Again, the interest rate we talked about, and I did not, just a minute, while I've got you guys here, I'm just gonna see what the bank rate is. I got busy yesterday and I meant to check on it because I just use Cyrus, so I don't know. What is the TD Bank rate right now? Whoop.
Well, you're looking for that. I just wanted to mention that when I went on the site that you were talking about, Alex,
mhm.
forget. Anyways, it gives you it for the entire MLS. So must be a way to.
Yeah, just go right beside up at the top where it says entire MLS, hit add an area and select whatever you want.
Okay,
That's
right.
Cole Harbor,
Okay.
Prospect. You can break it down by anything you want.
I got too many things open on my computer. I got to smarten up.
Yeah, Holly, it's good to sit down with somebody in the office. Ask one of the girls who knows that site best. Like I said, I use that for a couple numbers on my monthly. And but I also use I like the fast stat.
Yeah.
component.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
use
me too.
fast stat for my newsletter.
That's why I go into LinkedIn on Mondays and watch you.
Oh, you know what? And I'm okay with that. I was out the other night at a function and there were 3 other realtors from different companies and they do the same thing, which is quite a compliment. So
Yeah, for sure.
that is a compliment. So he said the banks are down around 5.09, 5-year, 5% down, closed. So there you go. So you can't look it up online because we got over 6 the other day online. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're great conversation starters, you know. Another conversation, you know, talking about interest rates, which is, you know, we talk, a lot of my clients that I deal with and a lot of my past clients I'm touching base with right now, we all remember the 13% rates. We all bought in the early 80s, right? And people say, oh, houses were cheaper then. But I was full-time executive secretary and I made $24,000 a year. So there you go, right? It's all relative.
Brenda, I want to mention to you that yesterday I was chatting with somebody and, you know, the stats that you gave yesterday that I asked you to repeat about 1973 to 1990, it took that long to go below 10 because it's a person that's kind of like doing I'm watching the interest rates and then 1990 to blew her mind. So that was really good. That was my big aha from yesterday that I could actually take that and use it. And they went, ooh, their face went white, but still. It was a good conversation.
Yeah.
I was actually curious what those were again.
I had to, but it took from 1973 to 1990 to go below 10. And it took from 1990 to 2009 to go below 5. Yeah.
So the whole idea is that the interest rates are not going to be dropping like everybody's hoping they will, because it takes years for that to happen.
The reason they won't drop is and remember I just said we have shifts because of economic factors. You have to understand that the market, when a lot of realtors think of the real estate market, they think, what's the inventory? Is it a buyer's? Is it balanced? Is it whatever? But think about the government decisions that impact not just the real estate industry, but the economy. And then economic factors, you know, so I'm going to give you an example of two of those. Ridiculous low interest rates where there was no need of it. There really was no need of it. Everybody was spending. The inflation rate was going up, so they lowered it some more. Right now, you got to remember, everyone was really liking those low interest rates on their houses, but nobody was making any money on their savings or their GICs or anything either. Everything was down. Right now, and then what I mean by a government mandate or interference is the foreign buyers ban. Right, so there's all kinds of factors that affect our market, and we need to be able to talk to people about that. So if they were to lower the inflation rate or lower the interest rate again, how many of you think we could lower the inflation rate that low again, or sorry, the interest rate that low again and not have inflation go back up? Who
No,
thinks?
you're not going to.
Can't.
You can't.
You can't. So Holly, it's not economically sustainable
For it to go back
to have
down.
low interest rates like that.
Right.
And when
We
you
will, we'll
that-
never see it again barring a global pandemic or a all-out World War III. You'll never see the government drop interest rates back there ever again unless they absolutely have to keep the country breathing.
I dare say, this is my prediction, you'll never see them below 4%. And if they go below 4, if they go in the low 4s, I'll be very surprised. But I don't think you ever will. And I don't think don't even get me going on that. I don't even think they shouldn't have been lowered to what they were. Because now what happened is, remember I said we have all these people that traded up because money was cheap, not blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden these people are going to be facing, and this is not going to hit until 2025, 2026 and 2027.
Right,
So
because
all
their
the
5-year
people-
comes up.
Right. So all the people that bought in February 2022 at 1.89 are going to renew in February 2027.
And they're not gonna be able to afford to.
Right. And even though here's another point, and it's a good conversation to have, is even though they qualified on the 5.25, which they had to, do you think they took that little chunk of money, the difference between what they're actually paying and what they qualified on, and they're putting that in their piggy bank? Not a chance.
No, it's the $100,000 truck that's in the air.
I was just gonna say, it's the RV, it's the cottage, it's the motorcycle, it's the boat, because everybody's all about stuff right now. Everybody loves stuff. I watched a really good show on that the other night. What are the unemployment rates? You know, that affects it. How many workers entering or exiting? What's the growth rate of your community? Same thing. You know, we've got a government mandate to bring in all these new people to Nova Scotia, which I think is wonderful, except
They
we
can't
don't
buy a
have any
house.
housing for us. We don't have enough housing for them. So, you know, and like right now, even all these ones that are coming in right now, our government is giving them $3,000 a month, like I told you, for rent, and they're giving them a doctor. Okay, don't get me wound up on that again. Has the government
I know.
made any changes in rules and regulations? Well, we just talked about that. Yeah. Neighborhood numbers, you know the shops, the restaurants, know the health facilities, know the neighborhood attractions. Remember what I was telling you about what within weeks of being in real estate, saw that Craig Proctor had said, position yourself as the expert in realty, the expert opinion, that people know that you know your numbers and you know what you're talking about. So that's what that's basically, that's why none of you will see videos with me in cute little outfits dancing, because two things: one, I'll fucking scare you if I do that, and two, I really don't care about dancing in cute little outfits on Instagram. I just want to give people real estate information. That's all that matters to me.
And that's
Anyhow-
what they'll look to you for. Right? They'll go, you know, Brenda or Holly or whatever. They know the numbers, they know the stats. Yeah, they got a cute outfit, but who cares? Because I'll
It's
always
not-
have a cute outfit and so will you.
Right, and it's not, and
Me too.
the big thing is,
That's right.
sorry, I missed that. What else was it?
I said, I'll have a cute outfit also.
Okay, all right, we can
I
dance. to-
agree. I agreed with them.
Yeah, the big thing about knowing your numbers and what's going on is so you can have conversations with people. They're conversation starters. Like, we're supposed to take a break so you guys can do practice scripts and roles back and forth. I know we used to do that in classroom and you guys would kind of go off. I know it's kind of hard to do. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to skip that part today because it's all on Zoom. Okay.
Okay.
Any ahas from this first section?
Yes, for me is to remember to get back to doing numbers, which I used to do before. I'm not a number girl. I don't like it. I don't like stats. My eyes glaze over, but I do know that I need to do it. And I used to do it and then I stopped doing it. So I am going to do it again because you're right. It is a good conversation starter.
And you want to
Or-
have, Holly, it takes 5 minutes. You open up your Paragon, residential search, active, region HD. There's your active listings.
Yeah, I know. I know
Take out the
it's
word-
so easy to do it, but
Yeah.
I just forget or I just
Yeah.
go little, whatever, but
And then when you
Some-
want to do your conditional and sold, just use 7 days, previous 7 days. And once you do your sold for 7 days and hit search, boom, there it is. Days on market, average prices, median prices. It's there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know
It's-
it's easy. I mean, I just need to say, Holly, do it. And
Is
I
it in
will.
your schedule, Holly?
It's right now it is. I'm gonna show you. No.
Like if you,
And would you do that? Like I would probably, once I start, because I'll start and I'll go, would you do it daily or just weekly? I look at Paragon every single day and I see what came on, what, you
So
know,
do
but
I.
pardon me?
I do that. I just watch the dailies on a daily basis.
Yeah,
And then like it's in my 8 AM Monday says stats. Yeah.
okay, yeah, I get you.
So every single Monday when I sit down, I do those stats. And then actually in my calendar for the 6th is monthly stats too. So it'll be monthly stat date.
Right.
Yeah.
So daily, weekly, monthly.
I just look at the market monitor daily.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
A couple times a day, actually, sometimes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
And honestly, if I get busy, I forget to look at the dailies. Yeah. But like I said, I do it every Monday,
Right,
right?
right.
In depth, every Monday. Yeah. Yeah. And then when I do hit search, I look and see what sold, what went conditional and what sold. So,
Right.
so sometimes I do daily, but I absolutely do it every 7 days. And look
And
at it.
I'm very interested now to see what it has sold for and look at, you know, how is anything selling for over now, how much and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Because that's what interests me right
Yeah.
now.
I know I mean, there's probably realtors that'll hate me for even saying it, but I don't care. I think open bidding is a better system.
What do
I
you
don't-
mean? What do you mean?
That means
Australia.
that we would, when every time we go out in showing time, we would say, we now have 6 offers, top offer is 650. We now have 9 offers, top offer is
Oh, I see.
750. Yeah, because what was happening during the pandemic, I would be getting, like I had this one split entry in Bedford, older split entry. And I had, you know, most of them, they were the more seasoned, experienced agents. And they all came in around 590, right? I was listed at 499. They all come in around 490. And I got one at 670.
So what's the,
The point is that the person that got it at 670, he didn't have to pay 670 for it. It was great for my sellers.
oh, I see. Right, exactly.
He would have got it if he had offered 601,000, he would have got it.
Right. Yeah,
He
that's a good point.
He went
That's a good point.
70,000 over.
Yeah,
Right?
that is a good
That's
point.
like, I mean, that's where my gripe was with it all too. 'Cause I see both sides of, like you said, Brenda. But like that seller's Seward.
You
Like they're
can't,
that buyer. They can't sell now. Like they can't.
you can't, they can't sue you. We were in like, the cost of suing, so,
No, I meant they're sewered, like they can't sell. Like if they need it to
oh,
sell
I
their
see
house
what
right
you're
now.
saying.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
they-
confused too.
And it, like, if you had to go up really high, I had to go up really high on one. They're there for 20 years. They're not moving. They'll be
That's
there
what I used to-
after their kids are gone, right? And I did find out later that we were only about 20 grand over the one below me, but I was like chewing my nails for
Yeah,
days because my
yeah.
client was like, Brenda, get me that house.
Exactly. That happened to me too. And oh my God, I don't even want to tell you what we paid for it, but it was like, and you can have any conversation you want with that buyer saying like, you got to make sure that you're going to be here for a while because things could happen.
Yeah.
Life happens. But anyway,
Yeah. So
I don't want
with
to see
the-
that again.
when you go to an art auction or a car auction, you know what you're bidding against. Right? When you go to those, what are they called down in the States? Those
You know, when you
Louisiana.
go to like Barrett Jackson or one of
There, that's what
those.
I'm thinking, Barrett Jackson. Yeah, okay, now it's up to 75, now it's up to 90, now it's up to 120.
Parts of Australia actually have auction bids right on the street.
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
I watched
Yeah.
that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Uh,
and I don't think it takes away, a lot of realtors feel very threatened that it takes away from us, but I don't think it does. Because we know how to market their home, we know how to present it, we know how to do a lot with the home. So why should we be afraid that our buyers have more knowledge that we can share amongst ourselves with people? Right? Anyways, that's just me.
But if you're gonna put that up there, you also have to put the conditions. What are their conditions?
No, you don't. Absolutely not.
Well, if you want transparency,
So
wouldn't- why-
we're just
why-
talking price.
I know, that's the only argument that I'd have with that whole system. Is if you're gonna want to be, if you're doing the price for transparency, then you gotta be transparent on the conditions, on what their actual conditions were too. But that's getting off topic.
Yeah,
So
that
my
is getting
aha.
And it
So
could-
my.
You're right. That's a really good point to bring up. You're right. I honestly never thought of that. But yeah, someone could
So-
have this price and no conditions. But the thing is, it's still up to the owner to take which one they want.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What I'm saying is that the other agents know, the other bidders know. But at the end of the day, if one is 700 and one's 680 with no finance, no conditions, the seller can still take the 680. They don't have to take the highest bid. So, but
Yeah,
thank you.
that's true. It is still always up to them.
It's always up to the seller, yeah. So yeah, so learn your market, learn your clientele. Learning your clientele is huge. What market do you want to work in? And then listen to the individuals that you're talking to. So, and a lot of that is you're going to get from your sphere. Keep the headlines in context, like follow all the headlines, read something from a new, maybe there's a news article you want to read, and you can talk about those news articles when you call people. Yeah. The language of real estate. Now I took the language of sales. I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but it was an excellent course. It really was. So I think it's the same course, but check it out, The Language of Real Estate. And remember, I told you guys that book by Phil Jones, Know Exactly What to Say. That's a really good book. Know your business, know changes over time in your personal business. Track it. The reports are on. If you've been with KW more than 1 year, you can now track everything. You just go to the reports on the other site, and Jessica can show you where those are. And then learn your clientele. So who are the buyers? So it helps us to know that the median selling price is $469. So that tells us that the majority of buyers, are they first-time home buyers, do you think? Or are they second-time home buyers?
Probably, well, first-time home buyers because that's what they have to pay now for a first house.
Yeah, in some cases, like, I'm leaning more towards. At 470, I'm leaning more towards somebody coming up from maybe a condo or a small semi or something. I know what you mean, Holly. It is
Yeah.
tough to get. Yeah. You know, when I
That's
think
why,
of
like, that's why the average age of the first time home buyer has now gone from like in the low 20s to 30.
Yeah.
Because they're not buying their first home until they're long settled in their career.
Mhm. Yeah. The other thing too, that you have to, it takes people longer to, number one, save up the money, or they have to use their RRSPs. Both my sons use their RRSPs to buy their homes. Because while they were renting, their rent cost them to the point that they weren't getting a lot of money saved. Because they were trying to live, right? Who are the sellers? Again, just watch what's for sale out there, watch the dailies, and then does the market benefit your client? So right now, who's the market benefiting right now?
Say 70-30 towards the seller.
Yeah,
It's sellers, 100%,
yeah, definitely.
100%. We're in a seller's market,
Mhm.
right? Now, let's dig in a little deeper. What kind of seller? A
The
seller.
sellers that are really benefiting are the ones that have been there for 5+ years.
The sellers that are really benefiting right now are the ones that don't have to buy anything,
Well, that too.
right?
Yeah, I need to find a few of those.
So it doesn't matter what market you're in. If you're buying and selling, you're balanced. Your own personal real estate is going to balance out, right? So for instance, my son sold his on Caldwell Road and made $300,000 more than he would have, right? And then he came out to Porter's Lake and he paid $300 more for a house that would never have been that high. It's
Yeah.
balanced,
He's
Yeah.
personally balanced.
right?
Yeah,
When we're deep in a buyer's market, people that had to sell in 2015 and were getting hit with low prices on their home, they were then going out and buying and doing the same thing to the next seller. So
Yeah,
they
remember
were,
that? Thanks, Holly. Holly helped me help Darren and I get our first
Oh, yeah.
house in 15.
oh,
you're
good.
welcome.
It had been on the market for over 2 years.
Wow. What
That's
year
a
did you
nice,
buy?
that's a nice little place.
What's that?
What year did you buy?
March of 15.
Oh, yeah, you were dancing.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So yeah, so if you're doing a buy sell, you're gonna balance out.
Mhm.
Yeah. So sellers market, sellers that don't have to sell. And I get like, there's somebody that I guess a buyer's market is a buyer that doesn't have to buy. Yeah, but who gets or sorry, in a buyer's market, it's always the buyer that doesn't have to sell. So he doesn't lose on the sell, but he gets a good deal on the buy. So first time home buyers generally actually what you just said, Alex, first time home buyers made out like bandits in 2015.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to individuals, take a grassroots approach, read things, watch the news, talk to people about that. Learn where your sphere gets your information, where they get their information. The public is starting to see right now, like, oh, maybe we're not as doom and gloom as what they're saying on the news. So my conversations with everybody in January and February is like, don't listen to the news. Because what's going on in Toronto is not happening in Halifax. So now more people are seeing that it's not happening in Halifax.
Yeah, I
Right.
absolutely have that same thing. Say, do not watch the national news. Don't listen to anything that they're saying about Vancouver and Toronto, because it
Yeah.
has nothing to do with us. Maybe next year it might, because it might trickle down, but right now, no.
And it depends on where you are in Toronto. So I got a referral from an agent in Toronto the other day, and I had my Zoom with them, my buyer's consult last night with them, and they don't think their house, they're in Etobicoke, and they don't think their house is going to last more than a week.
Really?
So It
Hmm.
all depends.
Yeah,
Depends.
true, true.
It's
that's
interesting
true.
because I had clients in the same area and they could not sell their house to save their life.
Really? Yeah, no, these
Yeah.
guys don't think they're gonna have any issue. Their agent told me, they told me. Yeah, yeah,
Interesting to see what pans out there.
what happens? Yeah. I hope they sell it for everything that they want to get for it. Yeah. And be present, like, you know, when you're talking to somebody, really be into the conversation, know your numbers and get, like I said, get in front of people. And know your numbers. It says, read the headline, read the past headline. I'm not sure what that one means, but again, you know.
I think it means read past the headlines, like forget the
Oh, that's what
headlines,
it
like.
says. Thank you,
Yeah.
Holly. It's
You're
Friday.
welcome. That's how I got it.
Yeah, read past the headline. You're right. Yeah. Any ahas from that? This is scooting along really quick today, guys. No ahas, nothing? Nothing?
Just reiterating, like you gotta be a base of knowledge, not like for your clients, not just a face.
You do. You do. Yeah.
And that's like, and honestly, like without down putting it, et cetera, like that's, I think, a better base to build your business on. That's gonna have longevity.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
An aha for me, Brenda, is although I felt like I knew my numbers, and I'll say that very loosely, I've now discovered that I don't know all my numbers. And I need to consistently know those numbers and potentially
Right.
track those for myself so I can speak intelligently going forward as I develop more time in the business, that I can also say 10 years ago this, 15 years ago that. I want to be able to have those conversations. So I need to start building that right now.
And if you haven't been in the business that long, just go back in Paragon. Like we were in Paragon last week playing around. Ashley and I, we were in Paragon last week or a couple weeks ago. Anyways, we were back there playing around in 2010. Right?
How old is Paragon?
Pardon me?
How old is Paragon? Like how far back can it go?
Paragon will go back, I believe, to 2002 or 2003.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
believe. Yeah.
I thought it was 12 years, but obviously I could be wrong, because if you were doing two.
Somebody told me that, Holly, and then I went back and I put in some dates, but I can't remember what I got. But
Yeah.
I know we were playing around in 2010 and I could see everything.
Right, so
I
yeah,
wanna see.
that's good then.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 15 years now.
But we've had, you know, since I've been in, you know, we had like a huge recession. And they say, and here's the thing about 2008, they say we had a recession here, but the reason 2006 to 2008 was busy, and in 9, 10, 11, I saw a lot of realtors gone from the market, is because the government opened up to 100% financing on your house with 40-year amortization. Right? It was, so first-time home buyers were crazy. In 2009, the NDP government put out a massive HST rebate for new home construction because that was slow. So I've been through buyers, sellers, balance, like I've gone through the rotation now, you know, on, especially in sellers. Like, so 2008 really was sellers for first-time home buyers because of that. 2011, 2012 became a seller's market because of the ships contract. And then 2019, November, we're slipping into a seller's market. Been in one ever since. So. Utilize resources. Again, that's huge. Know the KW apps, connect to your market. I'll show you. Now, I don't ask Jessica about command app maps. I don't know. I cannot get us, like I did set some people up for searches, like live neighborhood searches. It's a great conversation you can have with your clients, right? Because they can then see, like, it's kind of like a live thing anytime they tune in, but it wasn't working right. Right, so most of the people that I sent it to, now, and this was going back when Command first came out, so no, it's probably fixed now, but they were all, these past clients of mine were calling me and going, yeah, Brenda, there's not 18 listings in Porter's Lake right now, you know? I'm like, oh, yeah, no, there's not. So, but so check with Jessica and see if that's all fixed. Great conversation to have. Great reason to pick up the phone. Right? I know you're not thinking of selling right now, but you never know. And we always love to see what's going on in our own neighborhood. Why don't I set you up on our live updates? Anytime you open the app, boom, it'll be live. What's happening? It's a great conversation to have.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Okay, somebody's snoring apparently. I'm reading the chat.
I think it's
Oh.
Someone's pet.
That's,
Aw,
as I
I
said,
love
whose
it.
dog is snoring?
It's so cute.
Yeah, that is Frankie. Yeah. End-to-end Keller Williams platform, again, you know, Jessica is the girl with this. She knows what to do and how to make it work. A lot of times when you're new to the business or you've only been in a couple of years, you haven't built a budget yet. And even agents that have been in for years, you do have budgets built, but you know, you don't know what the market's going to be and you become terrified. You don't want to spend money and use all the Keller Williams tools. They're really, really good. The KW app. I do know one agent that loves it. That's all Kelly ever uses. Is that KW app? Oh.
Speaking of Kelly, do we still have
it's-
Kelly? Like does anybody use Kelly as the, like the,
I think
not Kelly
Command
Brown?
is, I think Command is basically taken over.
It has, yeah.
most of
Kelly.
Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have
So
both
no,
on my phone.
I do too, but I used to use Kelly when it first started. Remember, it was really exciting and stuff. And then it just kind of like went away. So I don't even know if I should take it off my phone.
Yeah.
I don't use it.
But that's where I get my notes, like, you know, compliance things on our files.
That's on Command though, the Command app, not Kelly.
Yeah, mine comes through my Kelly though, Holly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when I open up my Kelly,
Yeah.
I hit Command.
I was very happy to delete my Kelly, so I don't have it anymore.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, no,
Interesting.
there are no contacts on it. Hey, I use Kelly a lot, don't I? Actually, I actually don't use Kelly at all. So, yeah. And I think I have the new KW app. Is the new KW app the one where with the,
Red background.
okay.
I can't see it because I got blur on, but
Oh, that's why I can't see you guys. You got blur on. How can you put blur on? What's that?
no,
do?
me is you can't see me because of the light behind me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't have a red, Kelly. I don't have a red app.
Command, yeah.
Command is red.
Yeah.
Linda, do you have red command on your phone?
The new command is in red, but the basic one was white.
Oh, I got it. Look at that. I didn't even know I had it. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So again, 10 posts a day, 5 comments a day, and send 1 direct message. Put that in your calendar. Same thing. So when we talked about this the other day, the 10 conversations, the 10 contacts added, you know, just think about it. What they used to do years ago to do the sphere of influence, is Cheryl handed me the yellow pages and said, go through the yellow pages. Right. And that made me think of, oh yeah, who fixes my car? Oh, my hair, my dentist. Oh yeah. So that was their way of saying, here, there's your sphere. I sit and go through your phone. Anybody that you can get into your database from your phone, direct message them, give them a little bit of information, try and get them in there. That's contacts added. Lots of people have tons of people in their phone that are not in their database. Handwritten notes. I love, like I said, I love handwritten notes. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something, Dennis?
Yeah, just when the moment you just said that about the phone, there's gonna be some updates here in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Jess just went over it yesterday. Yesterday. And you're gonna be able to take the phone, your contacts in your phone and automatically upload it through into your command system all at one shot. So just so everybody knows, if you haven't done it yet,
Yay.
you will be able to.
Awesome.
And you can select, like, you don't have to auto put everybody.
That is awesome. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Just remember, if you do that before you start inundating them with smart plans, to make sure that you ask them. Right?
Brenda, can I ask you a question here?
Mhm.
I know you said we weren't doing scripts, but you mentioned calling your sphere of influence, and I find that particularly hard, especially when it comes to family. For two reasons. I do have a distant kind of relative that's been a realtor and her son for a long term, so I don't want to pressure that side of my family, but also I don't want to pressure anyone in my family to feel like they have to use me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
also, some people want someone that they can say, like, I hate this, or you
You're
suck,
fired.
F you, like,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
and it has me so hooked up. I have not touched, I've been in the business 1 year, have not touched my whole circle of influence.
Okay, so there's some really good, when you're going to reach out to somebody like that, what you have to do is reach out from a point of contribution, right?
Mhm.
So that's where you can pick up the phone and you're having conversations with them because you're keeping them informed. Or, you just found out that one of the great, like I say to people, as look, there's just, I've said this to you before, it doesn't matter whether they're family before, but you've heard me say this before, is that when you pick up the phone, it's just like, you know what? It has just been so crazy. And this could be a family member, Flynn, and say, even the family, like, how long has it been since we got together? Like, what did COVID do to the family? Isn't it crazy? Isn't it
Yeah.
nice that we can all get back together again? And blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, and you know what? You would not believe what's going on in the real estate. What do you think of it, Aunt Becky? And then get Aunt Becky in a conversation with you. And you don't, at the end of it, if you want, Flynn, then you can say to Aunt Becky, Aunt Becky, if there's anyone in your world that wants to talk about real estate or thinking of buying and selling, I'd be happy to come over and have a cup of tea with them or coffee, whatever you want to say. You just call, you just have a conversation.
I like that.
Hard to do. Yeah. So come from that. It's like when we used the system one time on my team, and it was a nightmare. We even went to Toronto for training, and we were also, I call it, it's like you're an ambulance chaser, because people have to sign up. It costs me so much money. People sign in, they just want to look at a property. They can't do it until they sign in. And then it's like, call the person 15 times. Like, it's just overwhelmed us all. We just hated it. All of us hated it. And then my sister, who is a doctorate, come down and trained us. And she taught us, instead of saying, oh my God, I got to call 50 people today that might say no to me. You sit down at your desk and you say, you know what? I have a list of 50 people here that I could call and talk to them about real estate. Like, how lucky am I to have that? Right. So Flynn, from your point of view, like, how rich are you to have that many family members that you can reach out to now and share knowledge with
It's true.
and catch up with them?
Very,
And
very
just let them
I
know
think-
they have another option, and that other option is you.
I think the other thing there though too is if you're discussing and talking with family members and friends, I'll just say friends and family, people that you should be comfortable with, it's great to get their opinion because they're going to have the majority of the opinion as everybody else. But
Yeah.
without them knowing, you'll be able to practice all your scripts right on them for how do you deal with the interest rates and oh, this is what's scaring us, right? So they're good people to also practice on.
They
don't even know
are.
it.
They are. Yeah. Yeah. Or, and like I said, even family. Now, I don't, when when I started, like I was older too, Flynn, right? And I saw my family a lot, like the Keels are a big family. Everybody knew what I was doing. I was the only one in the family, right? But with you, if you have a large family, especially if you haven't connected with somebody for a while, but Dennis is right. Okay, you know, like if at the end of the conversation, you know, you can say to them like, now just remember, if there's anyone in your world looking to buy or sell, there's not only one realtor in the family anymore. Times
Yeah.
are changing, the young ones are taking over,
Yeah,
right? It's all how you say it.
true that. Yeah. No, this is awesome. Thank you.
And again, other enrichments, the language of real estate, look that up. The Millionaire Real Estate. That was written a long time ago. But you know, like Alex said, it's back to basics this year. You need to work your database. If you don't have a database, you need to build your database, right? And you build it by having conversations with people. So, I mean, if I literally still have a guy, I have my mom's foot doctor. I had to take her once, but I got his card and I brought up real estate. I brought up real estate when I was getting a root canal 2 weeks ago. I got his card too. He's now in my database. Right? So anywhere you can go. Any ahas? Can anybody think of anywhere else you could get people from that we haven't talked about to put in your database?
Well, I was just thinking that it's funny how, like what you just said, like it is everywhere, and I've done that. I actually tried to get a Costco employee that was working the return counter to become a realtor because he was so bang on. I just told him like his attention detail. Well, I gave him a card. Like,
Yeah. I don't tell anyone to be a realtor because there's too many of them now.
Yeah, true enough.
The real estate, listen, they put out realtors like rabbits breed. Right? So I'm always like,
Brenda, I have an aha, but I don't know if it was from today or whatever, and I wrote it down 3 times and circled it, is
sure.
get other people's cards instead of you. I was in the habit of giving my card, but if I get other people's cards, that I
Yeah.
really like that. So
Yeah, I can order 250 cards and they can last me 2 years.
yeah, I hear you.
Right? And remember, if they don't have a card, then take out one of your cards,
Yeah.
write their information on the back and keep your card
Right, right.
with their information on the back. Right?
mhm.
And then you're guaranteed. Yeah. You know, and then same with if if you're having a good conversation with somebody, you want to try and have a coffee with somebody a week. Like when I asked about where else could you get people for your database, what about where you used to work? Who had a job prior to this?
Mhm.
You know, you reaching out to those people, or who were the people? There were people from my past industry that I did reach out to. Made sure that like when I was building around, and I bet you probably out of 30 of those, I got one deal, maybe one client out of all those people. But it's still, like you said, Dennis, even if you're not getting any business from it, you're honing your skills every time you pick up the phone. Yeah. So that's what this business is. Yeah. So because like I said the other day, remember, you wake up, you're unemployed. And you're unemployed till you do your next deal where you're right. So just to recap, what type of market, know your market, understand the balance, the buyers, the sellers. We are in the sellers, what the inventory is, keep on the stats. If I know the girls with me, they all just take a snapshot of what I do on Monday and they post it. They don't even have to look it up. It's all done for them. Remember, if you guys, hey, if you're busy, watch my video and recap it and send it out. Same numbers, right? Rip off and duplicate. What economic factors, interest rates and lenders. I lost my little thing here. Other market factors that affect it. The market, the clientele. Listen to individuals too, because a lot of times you could be talking to somebody and their opinion is really might really resonate with you. And it gives you conversation for another call. So, hey, gee, it's funny you said that. I was just talking to somebody else about 20 minutes, and this is how he felt on that subject. Do you agree with that opinion? It's all kinds, right? So, yeah, and keep the headlines in context. So how has the reason the class is going to finish really early today is because we were supposed to do, I think, like half an hour or more of role playing, making calls, scripting and things like that, which we all voted before you got here, Brenda, to skip that.
Did you?
It's too hard to do it on Zoom.
You can't do it on Zoom.
Yeah.
So how has your thinking changed? Like, is there any new mindsets on anything? Flynn, how's your mindset now on making calls to relatives?
I'm gonna do it.
Good for you. Yeah.
That all made much more sense. I get way too in my head about it.
You do. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm
I
just.
think I wanted to say that, like, when I started too, and when I didn't have a data bank and I didn't have family, but one thing that helps is to rely on the team. So Flynn, like, you can rely on all the success of the office and the mega agents you're working with, and align yourself in that category and use the strength of the office as well, to gain the interest of your family members, because sometimes when we are new, we get a little discounted. I felt that in the beginning, but then when you say, well, I'm working with like Brenda Kay, or you should see what our office is doing, or, and it just gives you a lot of, you have a lot of support around you that you can use.
Yeah. About that too.
So are there any different behaviors or any actions that any of you guys will take moving forward?
I think for me, I was told it's always interesting just hearing different views of different seasoned realtors. And one of the ones I've done is I edited everything for that little quick tips on Paragon, the one that's usually, I'm saying to the right because that's just where it is on my screen. So I adjust that so it's 0 days. So you do go in and look at it, adjust it for all the markets that I want to utilize. I've been doing the utilizing Paragon for all my stats already. So creating my monthly stats. But utilizing the median more, I didn't really utilize that and think about it as where are the buyers buying. I looked at just what was selling and kind of made that own conclusion. But for the quicker, here you go, that just, yeah, it'll just save just a little bit extra time.
Yeah, exactly. And when you'll see, if I do like specific neighborhood videos, when I do those, like, I'm specific to who I'm talking to. Like, you'll hear me say, hey, baby boomers, hey, first-time home buyers, right? Because I want people to know who I'm talking to when I'm doing them. So, yeah. Any tools or models or systems that you guys, how is everyone with accountability? Did everyone get an accountability partner? Any new tools that you're using?
No, but I'm going to, and I've got this written down and circled 3 times, is I've never utilized the smart plans, and I should. I've said it before that I'm going to do it, but I'm really going to do it, because I think, does anybody on here use smart plans, and do they love it? Do they hate it? Do they what?
We use them.
Yes, and love.
Okay.
Yes,
Use
yes,
it.
and yes.
Okay.
The smart
That's all I
plan,
need. That's my new thing.
when you spend money through command on ads and you have it linked to a smart plan, it's phenomenal.
Game changing.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
Holly, the other thing I'll add to the smart plan concept is when you're doing smart plans, you're doing Facebook ads in particular, because we know that those are kind of low value leads. Although if you nurture them for a while, you can bring them around, but those are fantastic for smart plans because you get to work on them, have those touch points without having to do a lot of your own labor as part of it. You can mix in and obviously make calls, but the impetus isn't there. They contacted you through Facebook, or they interacted through Facebook. So that's where you start, is through social media or through texting. And then it's a gentler way of doing it. And then you're freed up to focus on the stronger leads, which need immediate attention. They need the calls, they need your DTD2 contacts. Like, all that stuff that makes sense that are people in your database. I honestly, I can't say enough good things about it. I love it.
And
Can
I just
I
want to
add to
add, I just want to add one thing to it. Again, talk about the next 6 to 8 weeks with the new stuff coming out. You're going to be able to do where you can do Facebook and Instagram. You're going to be able to do Google ads. You're going to be able to do TikToks. You're going to be able to put all that stuff through there and enter it into the same thing, just so everybody's aware. Go look at Jess's video if you haven't seen it.
Oh,
I
okay,
will-
great. Thank
And I
you.
will say, I'm gonna respond to, let the smart plans just kind of do it if you think they're coming in at the top of the funnel. When a person goes on, whether it's your ad or my ad, or they're looking at houses and they're at the top of the funnel, they're going on anywhere from 3 to 4 sites. They're clicking 3 to 4 different realtor sites. Don't rely too much on the smart plans because you will lose them. Like if you pick up, so when a lead comes in, it's nice that they're on a smart plan, but you want to be able to pick them up and make that phone call within 15 minutes. Because if you don't, somebody else will, because I've done it.
Right.
The command app will send you the notification for you to make the phone call. I'm just saying, download the command app.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah. You will lose them because there are people that come in. You could be, I could be, I mean, I literally had one come in last year, called him right away. He had actually already talked to another agent. The next day I had him under contract, sold him a $500,000 home within 3 days. And he had already talked to another agent. And I called him within 15 minutes. But I got him. Right? So you never know. So remember the term I use, set it and forget it, Susie? Even in command, if you are a set it and forget it, Susie, you're going to miss business. No question. Yeah. So use the tools, but pick up because what's the most important thing that we want to do? Why are we lead generating?
Set the meeting.
That's it. We want to close to the appointment. For as much as we chat and we do this and we do that, the ultimate goal for us is to close for appointment and get somebody buying and get somebody selling, because that's how we create the sales revenue for our company. So that's the goal. Right. And there's more realtors right now putting ads on Facebook that I've ever seen, ever. And you guys must notice the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook's full of them.
Definitely.
It is, I'm not even doing Facebook ads right now. Well, I have an ad out today for the Call In to Win contest because it's the Call In to Win contest. But other than that, like, I'm not spending any money on Facebook. Because again, who are they gonna hit? They may hit mine, they might hit, there's even some of the agents in our office, the amount, I've seen agents from our office doing it now that I've never seen before. You know, you always have the ones you see all year. There's always the ones that are there all year. And now, and the same thing is like 2 of the girls that I work with have received postcards in the mail from realtors they never had before. Right? Work your sphere, because the other agents don't know them. Work your sphere. 90% of your business will come from your sphere.
And I mean, like, I think Sherry said, like, so many of these, there are the Cinderella leads off Facebook, but like, I laughed the other day, full disclosure, I have a Facebook ad running right now. I think it ends today, but I got a lead and I noticed I couldn't contact her. I was like, what's going on? And I was like, she's archived. I was like, she's archived. I was like, how do I do that? She has clicked on 7 of my ads since 2019. I've gotten her information 7 times in 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, so she's just a serial ad clicker.
It's funny you say that. I have a lady, I use Market Leader because that's what they used. That's what Keller Williams used to have. So I'm still on Market Leader. And I had Elaine McDonald. She's been coming in and out of my site since 2014.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to reach out to those people and say, like,
Constantly reach out. Never heard.
wouldn't they possibly make good realtors? I know that before I became one, I was obsessed. Like, you guys probably all have my information. I love looking at houses. So they could become realtors and go on your downline.
That's not my job. My job is to sell real estate and trade real estate.
You don't
Right.
work on the downline?
If I meet somebody,
If
but
it comes naturally.
if it comes naturally, Flynn, but I mean, I brought the whole commercial team into the company because Tom Jordan and I are friends and we had a relationship and I met with Tom and that's how that started. But am I going to watch people or this or that? Because should I be trying to talk someone into being a realtor and tell them how good they be? Or should I be talking to my sphere and see if there's anyone buying or selling real estate? Which one of them is going to put money in my pocket?
Depends on how hard you want to work that down line, Brenda.
Yeah.
And I mean, the downline's great. I mean, there's been times I've gotten $2,000. There's been times I got $1.57. But it's not my job. It's a perk being with KW, but it's not your job. Your job is real estate. Right? So if you have enough business, you can do what you want. Don't get me wrong, I love profit share, but this is my belief, right? Okay. I can spend time on building my business, building the sales revenue in my business. And if it's good and it's coming in strong and I meet an agent I really like, do I talk to them about KW? You damn right I do. Right? That's how I brought people in. Am I going to run around and talk to someone that I think might make a good realtor? I don't have the time for it. And it's funny, Gary Keller wrote the book, Do One Thing. You can be good at one thing. I get my LinkedIn blows up. You'd be so good at this. Would you like to join our group? Would you like to, right? I got one job to trade real estate. One job. That's what I do. And if the perks of profit share come down the line, as it has to me, then I'll do it. But I won't give up my time from doing real estate to try and talk somebody else in to say, hey, like this Elaine McDonald or whatever. So I've interacted with Elaine. I mean, Elaine's been getting my newsletter since 2014. And every once in a while, I send her out a little quick message. I have never heard back from her. Not once since 2014. So, but that's,
She's
your
probably
number-
got 7,000 unread messages.
she probably does. And like I said, even when you do those ads, don't kid yourself. They just want to look at houses. They're clicking on 3 or 4 or 5, right? So I don't do a lot of ads with properties because the only way they can see the property is if I get their name and their phone number. I love branding ads, right? If people call me from my YouTube, it's because they know me, they like me, they trust me. They're not calling any other agent, right? Cold, like internet leads are cold. They're top of funnel. Everybody knows what I mean by top of funnel.
Mhm.
You've really, really got to nurture those leads. The conversion rate in real estate is 4 out of 100. That's 96 no's and 4 yeses. That's the conversion rate in real estate, right?
I actually thought that number was lower than what you just said.
When Commissions Inc. did a study and what they put out there is 4 out of 100. Yeah. So that's a lot of, it's a lot of phone calls for it. So wouldn't it be nice to make phone calls to people in your sphere or people and have a nice conversation with them? Because most of the people that they come through your face, and don't get me wrong, do Facebook ads. I think they're great. If you want to build your database and nurture these people, but when you're just starting your business, it's great. When you want to, right now, if you have any kind of database and you've been in the business 3+ years, enough that you have even 200 people in your database, work that database. Those are the people that you can have some good conversations with that are going to refer to you. They may never sell. One of my best clients has been in his home for 50 years, but he sent me like 6-7 people. He'll die in his house. He'll never sell, right?
That's an important point, Brenda, is that you may talk to, the same person 15 times, excuse me, But they know you, they'll refer you. So you might not get their business, but you might get their brother, their sister, their aunt, their uncle, because they've been talking to you. I
You're
remember
talking
somebody
about-
telling me that a long time ago, and it actually is very true.
You're top of mind. That's what you're doing is remember I said to you guys, like, you know, I broke mine down and I got my top 200 right here. So they get most of my attention. The first, there's no point me going back, like some of these people are go way back, but if there's a lot of people like the first 5 or 6 years where I wasn't doing this to the point that I should, I'm never going to call those people and they don't know who I am. They don't remember me. Right? I didn't keep up with it. So, and if you've got any past clients you have, make sure you put their birthdays on your calendar. Text them happy birthday. I text everybody their birthdays, right? The past clients, put their anniversary on the day of closing. Put the day it closes, put a reminder in your phone that it's going to ding a year later. And then when it dings that morning, call your client. Oh my God, it's been a year. You've been in your home already. And there's another great conversation, right? Most people that come in through an internet lead do not want to be called. They don't want to talk to you. They just want to look at a property, right?
They didn't know they clicked an ad.
They didn't know they clicked on it. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people scroll right past the ads and they go down to the organic searches. And they see who comes up on Google in the organic search rather than the ad.
Savvy people will. Lots of people still don't. That's
Did-
just from my digital marketing background from another life.
Yes. Yeah, they hit that. Just like my batteries. Well, my computer was plugged in. There we go, but it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And like I said, you know, I just had buyer's doc signed the other day. They've spent the last 4 months out with an agent. There you go. Right? So yeah, just reach out, talk to people, know your numbers, be the information provider. How you doing and what do they want to, people love to give their opinion. You know, what's your perception of the market right now? There's my question. That's what I'm asking people right now. What's your perception of the market? Easy peasy. Yeah. Any last minute ahas? I think that's the last slide.
Mhm.
Yeah, success system. There we go. All right. And then I know all you guys are going to hang up. You're going to practice all your scripts, right? Yeah.
Yes, mama.
I know you are. I know you are. Anyways, everybody have fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you guys got a little something out of this one too. It's just a matter of, and always think, how lucky am I that I have people I can call
Yeah.
instead of thinking, damn, I got to pick up that phone.
Mhm.
Right now.
Okay.
Thanks, Brenda. Always
see
a
you later.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Imagine, next week, because the office is open now, it'll probably likely go to both. I don't know who's teaching on Monday, but it'll probably be in office and on Zoom.
Well, I hope it's not me because I have an appointment Monday morning. I'll have to check with Jessica. I know I'm signed up for a few and I'm not sure which ones.
Mhm.
Thanks for letting me know that, Alex.
Thanks again, Brenda.
All right.
Probably a good thing to
See
know.
y'all.
All right, see you
See y'all.
later.
Bye,
Bye.